Hello, everybody. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We're broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107 FM in New Orleans. Hello. We are having a very great guest. Her name's Tonya Roy. She's from out there in Sweetwater, Red Mesa area, and she has plenty of stories, plenty of high strange stories. To me, it seems like Navajo Nation is like the perfect storm. I get stories left and right, and it's amazing. But before I bring on our guest of honor today, let me bring on my co-host, the one, the only Darren Yazzie out of Rama, New Mexico. Here he is. Say
Hey,
what's
what's up?
up, Darren.
Yeah, what's going on?
You all right?
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, hey,
just your
hey. Yeah, he's working out,
self-proclaimed.
everybody. Yeah, he's over there working out, getting ready. He's doing butt
Woo.
flexes, everybody. The mayor
Uh,
of New Mexico, right here. I'll just play. But
yeah.
let me bring on our guest of honor, uh, Tanya, Miss Tonya Roy, Tonya Ray.
Hello.
There she is, everybody.
Hey,
Yes. Yep, this is
uh,
episode 8. It seems like the perfect storm. That is your title of this episode. And
hmm,
you can go ahead and lead us on into your life. This is your episode, so here's the mic.
Okay, well, I'm Tonya Roy. I grew up in Colorado actually, and I moved out here on the Navajo Reservation, like 15 years ago. And our first experience, like with like the paranormal or like Bigfoot and stuff like that, was up in our mountain area we call Bigfoot Point. And actually, a lot of people call it that because that's the main area that people see Bigfoot all the time.
Ooh,
huh.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
I think
Oh,
it's called Carrizo Mountain. Yeah, and that we see
Easy.
like a lot of lights and like a lot of weird stuff there. And there's when we were talking before, we saw like a little like a hut, you know, where
Oh
it
yeah,
looks like,
yeah.
yeah, they build the huts and stuff, and we could see little piles of pinon everywhere. And yeah, so but in the same area, we just we always see like Bigfoot or the knocking on the trees,
Tree knock.
hmm,
yeah, or the howling. That howling is so
Oh
eerie. I feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like the closer it sounds, like it's probably further away, and the furthest away, I feel like they're closer to you. That's
yeah.
kind of
Oh,
like the Appalachian Mountains.
Mm,
have you heard the howling yourself, or
Yeah, I have.
what do they sound like? To just if you don't mind working your vocals right there, or
It doesn't sound like a wolf or anything like that. It sounds more like
it's
grunting.
crazy. Yeah, it's
grunting?
the sort of
Yeah.
vocals. It's just crazy. Like the different ranges it does. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know how it sounds like, but I am never gonna try to imitate it because the set of the lungs, the vocal cords on them,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. We
Hey,
heard him out
right
there
here.
in New Mexico too.
Theodore,
So,
Theodore, Cat, Joey, hi Don and
hey,
Darren.
what's
What's up,
up?
Theodore?
Oh, hey, what's up, Virgil?
And here's Teresa Byers. Good afternoon, Don, Darren, and guest Tanya.
Hey,
She's
what's up?
she's been with us since day one, right here.
But
Teresa.
yeah, these vocals, yeah, the ones I heard were, I rehearsed them a couple of times on another show, but it has a long howl, like ooh, like man, it like I said before, man, that just doesn't do it justice. It almost
Yeah.
rattled my eyes when I heard these Bigfoot.
It's
Well,
like
we
the
were calling
vibration
when you
you
call out,
felt.
does it call back
Okay.
to you?
Uh, this was actually the first time I actually heard it. Me and my mother, uh,
Hmm.
but we did. Uh, I guess you would say make contact to the point where this Bigfoot changed its vocal tune. So I actually managed to put a pretty good flashlight spot on it, and the vocals changed when I did that. And after that, uh, that was it. That was it at the Bigfoot. But
Damn.
it,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. But it sounded more surprised if anything if it had that tone with it.
Mhm.
But
Well, Tanya, can you tell us what's your furthest memory of your childhood of all the paranormal things that happen because I know, like being around the reservation, being raised, even in Colorado, you're close to the reservation, so
Yeah,
we always
still, yeah.
hear ghost stories, little people like the serpents, just bring us all the way back to where you came in.
Well, like on in the summertime, you know how our parents kind of dump you off in the res. Just kidding, no. At our grandparents' house. No, no, we'd be here in the summertime after when school was out, and we'd go, exploring on the mesa and all this stuff. And my grandparents would tell me, there's a mesa, it's called Dry Mesa. It's like Red Mesa area, but there's like the serpent on top of the mesa. Well, they say there's a giant serpent, and not to go on there. And a lot of people have gone up there, and it looks like a body of water, but the wind will start picking up, and then you'll hear like a hissing. And then by the time you see the serpent, it's already coming at you. I'd say it reminds me like like the anacondas, of the Amazon and stuff. So it's like that big, but my grandma would always tell me like it had horns,
Huh.
You know what?
and
Wait, let me pause
yeah,
you right there real quick. I just got off the phone today with one of my relatives. So sorry about that, by the way. He told me that his dad told him that the same areas you're from. He said that his dad told him that it's a serpent that lives there. It had a name. It slipped my mind the name of the serpent. And he said this serpent is not a snake. It's more of a dragon type looking serpent.
right.
Huh.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy. But go
Yep.
ahead.
So
Sorry.
is
Go ahead, Darren.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
is there any like major bodies of water over there,
Oh
San
no.
Juan
or is
River.
this
Well, just the
just
San Juan
like a
River.
San Juan River? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Uh,
And then
I'm
Ute
near the Four
reservations right
Corners.
there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's East
and
Mountain
even
North.
on
That's a hot spot.
yeah, right.
all right.
Yeah, and then right on the bridge, right when you pass the Four Corners Monument, on the bridge, that's where they say the serpent goes into the river. And then when it's spotted, you'll see a troll, like it's under the bridge, and you'll see
True.
a troll, and it's like I'd say about 4 feet tall, just really, looks like a gremlin, you know,
That's
and
ugly.
it's just perched up on top of the bridge, and people will drive by, and unless you're really looking for it, you can see it. Lots of people have seen it.
Oh
And
man.
when you spot the troll, you can you'll hear rumbling and stuff. It's really weird because we don't get earthquakes out here, but you'll feel the rumbling and stuff, and that's when they're like the serpent's moving, and that's a whole like urban legend thing down here. But yeah, they always talk about that serpent down here.
Huh.
Wow.
That's kind of
Crazy.
strange that they actually hear a noise before they see this troll. Uh,
Hmm.
some people that I hear when they see like anything paranormal, they usually say that they hear what almost kind of sounds like a moving train or
Oh yeah.
like rattling uh, metal sheets of metal
Hmm.
out of nowhere, and then they see this whatever they see next follows up. So they kind of think
Mm.
that it's ripping the fabric of the reality or the portals opening up type deal.
Coming into this
So
dimension from the other
yeah,
dimension, maybe.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
over real quick, over in my side of the reservation, El Jato, there's this bridge, and we call that the cave or the bridge troll. The troll stays
Hmm.
underneath that bridge. So whenever
Well.
people are coming around, he comes out from the bridge and chases them. Or he's on the top, like you were saying. Remember the
Yeah.
rails, the sides? He's
Yep.
jumping back and forth
Yeah.
on there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then there's he's the troll. He's a little bit taller than the little people are around that same wash. So
Hmm.
people's vehicles they conk out for some reason right there. And if you get out and sit on your vehicle, be really really quiet, they come out from those hilltops and they go dig underneath those bushes and they collect the roots or something in those bushes. And the one that has one lookout, he's looking around. He sees anything, he makes a noise, they freeze. He makes another noise, they all go back into that hole they came
Hmm.
from.
Hmm.
They said, "Yeah, it's weird." So there's like another correlation out there in your side of the reservation.
Yeah.
And what about you, Darren? You have anything like that down there in Rama, like a bridge troll?
Bridge trolls. What come to no, not really. There's not a lot of major bodies of water out where I live. It's green. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh
There's
no, it
no
doesn't have to be bodies of water because over there in Aljeto, Miami Valley, there's no bodies of water, and the only time there's water there is when it rains and it's like a flash flood area. That's the only
Yeah.
type of
yeah.
water.
Uh,
Yeah, it drains
no,
into Lake Powell. Yeah.
yeah. One of the
Yeah.
local legends out here, I guess, is we have giant spiders. Believe it or not, there's
Oh
rumors,
yeah.
whispers of giant
Wow.
spiders that run around.
Ooh,
And
we got that
my
too.
mother,
Ugh.
uh, my mother, when she was a younger woman, probably when she said she was like a little girl, that uh, she remembers the military actually going out there and bombing their nest or whatnot, their cave, and it's not too far from the local market, from what she says and what she remembers. But
Mm.
yeah, there are rumors of like giant spiders taking livestock and dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
that goes on in El Capitan, like Kienta to Navajo Mountain area. Same stories, like 5 foot spiders to 3 foot.
Whoa.
yeah,
They'll all gather around sheep and then they scatter. There's just the bones left.
What in
They
the
eat
yeah, I
world?
actually
everything.
heard one from St. Carlos area. I actually met a
Ooh,
talk with the man
jeez.
that said that he's seen a giant spider out there walking on the railroad track, stuff like that. So I don't
Oh.
know,
Wow.
maybe they are, but I'm not. I wouldn't call myself too much of a pansy when it comes down to spiders, but I don't know, man. Just
I'm
seem
good on spiders. I'm good on spiders.
Me too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
watched the old movie called Arachnophobia. That
Oh
was it.
yeah.
The
yeah.
whole movie. Oh, but anyways, right here, Teresa says, Tanya, do you feel the serpent and the troll have a connection?
Yeah, I think so. I think that because when the sheep herders go up on top of the mesa, we have to they actually get you we have to notify the rangers because this is
What?
like a yeah, we have to notify the rangers to let them know we're going on top of the mesa. Because
I'm not.
did you know that the Navajo Nation PD actually has a section for paranormal stuff? So they have their own little crew that goes out for investigating like skinwalkers and stuff
Huh.
like that. They got to
I
take
want
that
to join
Uh,
seriously.
that crew.
oh,
Yeah, but we got
yes,
to
being Navajo, I think Yana glows you. That's your Skinwalker, and most of them don't really say it like that. Just use the Skinwalker, just like
yeah.
that. So, as Navajos, I think that's
But
something that has to be heard out too.
yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, Tanya. You as
Oh
you were
yeah.
saying though.
Sorry. And then so we have to let them know that we're going up there. And when we're going up there, you got to go into pairs and stuff like that because there's a lot of like
Jeez.
weird stuff. People don't come back down.
Wow.
They don't come back down
Huh.
from the mesa. They'll go missing. And there's a like a ghost or this light that comes emanates from that mesa, and it radiates at some points, sometimes at night. And so when we're like, wow, it must be moving, the serpent must be moving, and we'll see the light like move towards the Four Corners area. And then when we
Hmm.
hear that it's moving towards the Four Corners area, that's when we hear a lot of people talking about that gremlin or that troll thing coming out. I'm thinking it's like a guardian, I'm thinking like it's maybe like the guardian to the door or something to the underworld or something like that. But
Huh.
that's how, like, we're like, did you guys see the troll? They're like, yeah, because we saw the lights, we saw the serpent moving. And it's really weird because we'll hear the rumbling. You can hear rumbling around here a lot. And there's no earthquakes or anything. It's just a weird vibration.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. I actually talked with two men out there in the Rama area, and they also said they hear grumbling. But
Mhm.
what they describe it as is the rumbling. They can look at it, and they can follow where this
Yeah.
rumbling's going. So it's like it leaves a line or whatever. So it's not just
Mhm.
like a massive earthquake. It's actually rolling, I guess you would say. It's really odd, but yeah, there's stuff like that. And actually, those two actually talked about also seeing a giant, uh, almost what they would say like a giant lizard or a giant snake out here in the Vanderwagon area. And
Mm.
there's also rumors and whispers that they're taking livestock. Actually, I have two other men out here that said they seen a giant lizard run across the road, and they said it was so massive that like it was taller than a semi truck, and it was running on 2 feet.
Lizard
Whoa.
man.
And
That's the
and
lizard
that
man.
and when we were talking with them, and what they were saying was the area right there is between Rima and Zuni. That area is it's real flat. One side goes up, and there's like a canyon wall, and the other side, one side of the road has trees, pinyon pine, all the way up, going up a little hill. So it's just really flat and barren.
Mhm.
And they said like the thing was so massive that it was taller than a semi truck, and the tail was so long that it took when it moved off on the other side of the road, the tail was still falling on the opposite end of the road.
Jeez.
So
Wow.
That.
they actually drew it out what they seen, and he they both give they both give two different descriptions. The drawings are two different, but they both seen this something that as they refer to as a giant lizard.
Mhm.
They're yeah, so it's really odd, but you know, there's something out here. And when they said that, I asked them like, if it's so massive as big as you guys say it was, where did it go? You know, since the area's so flat. And we actually
We have we have vast canyons, man. We got caves, so there's a lot of places to
yeah,
hide. But real
yeah,
quick,
that
Heidi says, "Good day, Don, Darren, and Tanya. Much love
oh,
from
what's
Boulder,
up?
Colorado. What's up?
Nice.
Yeah, no spiders, EBGBs. Right, right. Then right here we got Brian Cast. I've been hearing about the giant bipedal lizard eastern side of the Navajo Res near Cuba. A lot of people have been seen and even say it has a long tail.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow. Right there. Love, love, love. Rob Ruth and Cryptic 13.
yeah,
What's up,
that's all
man?
we need right there. That's all we need.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the shout outs, man. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. But
But
yeah. Yeah.
like I was
Back
going
to
back,
start. Oh,
uh, like I was saying, the thing was so massive. Like, where did it go? And they're like, they came to the conclusion that you know it has like giant man, I forgot what the word you would call it. It has like giant sand canyons or
Sandstone canyons,
Hmm.
slot canyons.
yeah,
Yeah.
like rios, I guess you would
Trenches.
say,
Yeah.
trenches. And
Yep. The
at
drain
the area
system.
where they seen it is they said that it they believe it crawled up and over that trench, went and then crawled up, went on top of the road, and then crawled back into the the trench or whatnot and ran off. So
Wow.
so yeah, it's really weird. It's really strange story, but you know, obviously people are seeing stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
So what about you, Tanya? Have you seen anything like that out there, like a lizard type of deal?
Just the serpent and the little gremlin or troll, well, actually, and then where we see a lot of Bigfoot, like we had a revival.
My
Um,
favorite. Oh,
we had a revival, like I think it was 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and it was daytime. It was in the summertime, around this time, and we had two guys come up from the canyon of this, or and they were like, there's something down in the canyon, and we were right next to it. I mean, it's 100 feet and you're going to go down into the canyon. So we stopped the music because this guy was like freaking out, and so all the guys are like, calm down, calm down. He's like, it's running after me, it's coming after me. And we saw this thing standing on the other side of this cliff, like I'd say a football field away. And it just looked at, it was massive, it was huge, it had fur, and it was black. Well, it was dark brown, but I say it was mostly black fur. And it huffed like, like, and like, like gorillas,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
yeah.
I've been huffed that. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I got huffed that.
wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
So
it would huff at us. Yeah.
you and like a
Oh
group of
gosh, a
people at this
hundred
revival,
of a
everybody's
hundred other
seen this thing,
Whole,
people.
huh?
Oh
whole
yeah.
party,
Wow,
whole
A
wow.
party.
lot of
Wow.
people. I mean, some people started praying, others were like, what is that? And so the guys, grabbed their rifles and everything because the thing was massive. all the kids started screaming. All the ladies just kind of stayed underneath the tent, just kind of like, looking. And
Wow.
I didn't stay. I went with the guy. I went with the guys, and we were running down. Oh, it was fast. It was jumping from it was probably like a 20-foot like space between the canyon, and it would hop across trying to get away from us because they're shooting at it, and it was huge. And then it just disappeared into the same mesa that serpent is at. That's where it disappeared into.
That's where we
Yeah.
need to go. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, these revivals, they're maybe just ceremonial stuff like that. All these wicked stuff always seem to be drawn to
Revivals.
these area revivals. Sweat lodges, or just
Ceremonial
even
stuff. Yeah.
a ceremonial. Even here, like people like stuff like that happening around like peyote meetings and stuff like that. It's really, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Good, the bad's attracted to the good. It's really odd, but same thing with the survival too. Actually seeing an exorcism happen in one last year around this time. So it's really odd. Maybe we can just do a show just strictly on just ceremonial spooky stuff. It's weird.
I'm down to cover all of it. Navajo Nation is home to the High Strange, so I'm not gonna segregate all of them. Say,
Yeah.
hey, we got all of them.
Yeah.
Throw them all in the laundry. Let's see what's the lucky number. Let's see what's in here. Let's draw a hat.
Mhm.
Boom. Whoops. Okay. All right. What's the next one? That's how it was. Like half my family is traditional, half is Christian.
Mhm.
So both sides had their own strange things that would always play out. And me being in the middle, I'm like, you guys, there's weird things happening on both sides.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk. It should be studied. It should be studied, and we're
Yeah.
all talking about it around the fire, drinking some Folgers
Right.
coffee cup. So yeah, he bothered us a lot, with our tent. We had to take care of it. All the boys, all the young boys, we had rifles. So he would walk around our tent and he would throw rocks on top. This is a big tent. You hear all the rocks sliding down. Yeah,
Hmm.
he'd keep us up all
Wow.
night. Yeah. I heard a story where he walked into a church and screamed and everyone cleared out. That's around your neck of the woods. I heard a story like that one time.
Hmm.
Huh. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
He did give out a scream, and it was a screeching, like a piercing screech. Not a, like, how like the howling or the wailing woman, when you can hear that in the forest sometimes, like someone's crying. And we
Mhm.
hear that a lot in that canyon that I was just talking about. You can hear like a woman crying, and no one ever goes down there. But like, since we were just the naughty kids, me and my husband would go towards the noise.
Same here.
Yeah, we go towards the noise, and they're like, don't bother it and stuff. But we want to know what it is.
Yeah, your
What's
interests,
scaring? Yeah, what's
Yeah, like
scaring everyone?
mhm.
But
Wow.
I mean, we even see lights out here a lot. Like just a couple nights ago, um, we kept thinking it was a green, like it looked like the Northern Lights, but it faded so fast.
Wow.
And you can hear all this howling and stuff. And sometimes we can hear the woman screaming. It sounds like a bobcat. The
Hmm.
bobcat, I guess howl or screeching noise. And there's like a panther that's been seen out here, a black panther actually. And the rangers out here are still looking for it. A lot of people spot it. Some people have taken pictures of it, put it on Facebook and stuff like that. But that's been seen out here. And then that infamous camel that was out here.
Camel? What?
Camel.
What?
That's not
Oh.
paranormal, but
Tell me about that. Like, yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know
Tell us.
where. I have no idea where this camel came from. It was coming from Shiprock, I guess. I don't know. Hitched a ride somewhere. I don't know where, but like it just went all the way across the res, all the way into like towards Phoenix area.
Huh.
And I think that's the last place the camel's been seen. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
The reason why that really stuck out because when I was younger, we would go down to Fort Apache Reservation, White River area,
Mhm.
and we were staying at the AHA That's Apache Housing Authority. So we're staying there. What's weird about that community is there's a cemetery at the heart of that community. So it's a square, houses all the way around, and a cemetery at the center. You know, I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, there's something gotta go on at night. Tell me, you gotta tell me. And then sure enough, they're telling me scary stories. And one of the scariest one that really stuck with me was a ghost of a camel running around that is wearing a wedding dress, knocking on doors. And if your window is not closed, it's looking in. So you have to keep your
Oh
window
yeah.
closed. So like at
Hmm.
10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, they don't open the door for nobody. The windows are
Huh.
boarded up. So they say if you hear it running around the streets, they say he's running around the streets. And if you look out on the streets, you'll see a camel wearing a wedding dress because a dude committed suicide wearing a wedding dress. And he got buried, and then that ghost of the camel dressed the same wedding dress he got buried in is running around that community.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's probably the same camel.
Dude, yeah. That's why he said camels. Like what? You know, like oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So no one ever really caught the camel, huh?
I don't
Camel's
think
still
so.
running.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's still running.
Okay. But
Wow.
yeah, my father used to he told us a story once too about the circus. I guess the circus came by the Navajo reservation when he was younger, and that chimpanzee got loose, and it ran, and
Everyone has that story.
it scared the relatives so much that they actually went and shot it and killed it, dropped it out of a tree
Whoa.
because they kind of took it as a bad omen, you know, like, and no
Mhm.
one knew what a monkey was, you know, like a chimp, no one knew mug it, no one knew what it was, so they actually put it down and come to find out it was a chimp that got loose out there.
Mhm.
I forgot where it's from. It was one of the towns towards Window Rock, right there,
Mm.
that area.
Yeah, I heard a
So
story like a train accident and animals escape. That's one of the ones I heard on my
Oh
side.
yeah. Yeah, I heard that too.
mm,
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Real quick,
huh,
right
well,
here. We'll say what's up to our people here. Yes, I was thinking a guardian type. Hmm. Wait,
yeah,
I think
good,
I
yeah,
kind of lost what she was talking about. See, I've been hearing about the giant. Okay, whoa. Okay, my bad, guys. Let me go catch up
yeah.
here. Okay, all right. Oh, I'll comment you our Facebook name, our Facebook handle. Let's see here. So Teresa says so maybe some rainbow portals there too, because I was telling like in Navajo way we called the portals like a rainbow bridge
Yeah.
from the dimension. That's how we got here from the destruction of the last world to this world here.
Kind of like
Some
the
of our
Vikings.
clans, yeah, some of our clans, and then let's see here. Rob says it's because stuff like that causes energy gatherings to build up.
Hmm.
And he says spirits see it like a bright light, so that's why they show up. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, we have a whole conversation going in chat. We like that. Thank you guys. Thank you,
Nice.
Heidi. Thank you, Nancy here. Okay, I got a story I composed in this here email for you to check out. Oh, okay. Well, we'll read it and then see here. Kurt W75 says, Don, Darren, great to see you guys. Peace,
Hey, what's up?
Tanya. Hope you're
Yep.
doing great today. Thank you for your time, Heidi. Love, always awesome to see you. That's cool, man. Yeah, you
Nice.
guys chatted up in there.
Yeah.
Like to read over
That's
and
cool.
you guys, yeah, you guys got any questions you guys want to ask, feel free to, ask us. We would like to interact more with you guys and please
Oh yes.
like, subscribe, and share us. Yes.
Mm.
Okay, going back to you, Tanya. Okay. And you told me that one time you and one of your friends, both of y'all were walking and you seen a Bigfoot too, right? Oh, did she
Or,
freeze?
Oh
are we back on? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So
Oh, there you are.
me and my husband were walking back. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
It kind of went off. Okay. So anyway, I was walking up my driveway, and it was nighttime. It was evening. It was getting pretty dark, but my husband was walking behind me because he was playing with the dogs and stuff. And I was almost home, and we have a corral next to our house, I say 100 feet away, and the the dog started barking, and all I heard was, T, watch out, there's a coyote. And I looked to my left, and this coyote passed me, like really close. And I'm like, whoa. And it ran past me across the road, around the corral. And then we heard like galloping, like horse hooves.
Oh
And
man.
so all of a sudden, when we looked that way, my husband ran up to me. He's like, whoa, what is that? And then we looked towards the coyote, and the corral. I mean, you can see right through it. So it turned into this white horse coming around
Oh
the
my
corral.
gosh.
It's coming back towards me, and he's like, oh no, oh no. So my husband jumps in front of me, and he's like, boom, like, whoa, like, and scares it off. It trips right in front of us. I'd say 10 feet in front of us. It trips and turns into this black dog.
Oh my gosh.
And we're just standing there stunned, like, did that just happen? That was a horse. Where's the horse? There was no white horse anywhere. This black dog gets up, looks at us, has this weird, like, grin or look on its face. He just stood there like, did that just happen? Nobody's going to believe us. Nobody's going to believe us. And it just ran towards the east. And it was the
I believe it.
scariest thing we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And we ran towards my mom, and we're like, I'm like, mom, like this way. And she's like, did you see who it was? I'm like, who? And she's like, that's probably a Skinwalker. She's just casual about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, she's like, when did this happen? I'm like, just now, I'm screaming. And oh my gosh, that was the creepiest thing I've ever seen, like with my own two eyes. And it happened right before us. That was,
wow.
it was so intense. And I will never forget that day. I remember if I ever saw that black dog again, I could tell you that it was that black dog. Yeah.
Did you see any facial features? Because whenever a man is in his shift, like the features you would tell of a certain person, because from all these witnesses I spoke with, like they're leaving a church, they would see a guy in there and he's gone. Then they would see a horse running back and forth in front of them when they're trying to escape, dirt
Yeah.
road, and they would see the face of this horse and they say it looked like that one kid, this one guy. Then the same thing with my in-laws. They said that when the horse was chasing one of my sister-in-laws, she turned and looked at it. She said when his hair was out of the way, it looked like this one medicine man's wife's face. And then it's the same one. She was stalking her uncle, but she changed into a cat form, and she would lay on top of her uncle, and he was frozen. And he's trying to chase it out, but he would fall asleep, and that cat would sleep next to him. So he was saying it's so and so's wife.
Wow. And I heard if you call out their names, some
3 days.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Darren, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that the other man that we had. Remember, he was talking about seeing a Bigfoot transform at a fire camp that they were going to, a fire meeting, or kind of lost the words right now. But when was this? When did this go down? When was this? When you guys were kids, or just recently?
for
you
me?
guys seen this? Yeah.
No, this was last year.
Oh shit! Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this
the same time, around the same time. Yeah, this is very recent.
Yeah,
wow.
Right here, Heidi says, "Wow," and she goes, "Oh my hell." Kurt says, "How could you forget an experience like that? That's crazy."
Yeah.
You're never gonna forget it. It'll stay with you forever. As long as
And
we're talking about it right now, it's important.
And the thing is like when the coyote passed me, I saw the coyote was like a grayish tan. It was really like mangy. And the way it ran, it was kind of like limping while it was running, or I don't know, it wasn't running right. And when it went around the corral, because we were talking to each other, and I was like, whoa, that coyote scared me. And then we heard the galloping. When we looked over, there's a white horse, and it's coming towards me. I mean, it's coming at me. And then when my husband jumps in front of me, because a horse is going to run into me, I'm just standing there stunned, like, move. But I couldn't move. And when he got in front of me, it tripped in front of the horse, like flew, and it tripped in front of us.
Because he had no fear, that's why.
Yeah, and the black dog just appeared, and we were like,
oh my gosh.
And my husband, he doesn't get scared a lot. So he just looked at it, and he tried looking in the direction, but that black dog was gone. Like, even if it was running, it was gone. Yeah, it was so.
Boom.
It was the face. It was the face when it looked back at us, like it turned its head awkwardly, and it was like a grin, but like a snarl. And then it was the eyes. It was like somebody put a mask on, and you can see, you know how the eyes, like a really cheap Walmart mask.
Yeah, you just see
Yeah,
the eye
I mean,
hole.
it was eye
Yeah,
holes.
someone like
Yeah, it
this.
was just like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Ooh, woo.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Yo,
really
you need
scared
a
us.
GoPro. You should buy a GoPro and just attach it to
Walk
you and
around.
take some walks. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
all
That's
alone. Oh man. That's
so. Did
awesome.
this thing leave any prints behind or anything? What,
Yeah,
like,
we saw the coyote prints. We saw the coyote prints, and then all of a
did
sudden there
you,
was horse, and we even had the whole
Ooh.
imprint of the horse falling, and then it ran away, and you can see the dog prints.
Quick
wow.
question for you, Tanya. Quick
Wow.
question for you.
Yeah.
Has any of your clothes gone missing? Any your hair been cut or anything like that? Are you having nightmares or dreams of a certain person, or anyone been watching you, like stalking you, or you go to the store, someone's like by a vehicle just watching you, just dead eyeing you? You know, that's one of the tall signs.
You know that
Sometimes.
the thing is we live next to a church community, and it's a school. It's a Christian school, and in our community, no one comes to my resin. I mean, from just the past, our relatives, because my grandpa was a medicine man. And
Mhm.
so everyone's afraid of my area. They won't, trek on our area. So it's not like somebody, I don't know. That was just a weird thing to have something come onto our property like that, because everyone's so, it's just an eerie place to be. You just have this weird feeling. I'm not afraid of it. I grew up here, so I'm not afraid or anything like that. It's like more like a protective thing. So I think that thing that changed was probably at our barrier, like I would say, like it couldn't
Mm.
Huh.
pass a certain point of our protected area, because I would prey upon my land, and my family, and keep our area safe and stuff like that. So when it wouldn't go further towards our home, I'm like, is this the barrier? Like, is this where it
Mm.
ends, the protection? But that's
Yeah.
how I thought about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Usually like the fear that gives them fuel. And as soon as you like take a stand, say, hey, I ain't afraid of you, I'm gonna fight you, their fear just goes it just goes away, then they
Right.
can't the other stuff don't work. So
Yeah.
that's what they always say to us too. Don't let your fears overtake you. So because those people that practice witchcraft, that's what empowers them to be oppressive and to have control over another human and to use that as leverage and blackmail against them.
Right.
It's
Hmm.
just it's just really it's just evil. You know what I mean? And that's another amazing story right there. That's another. I heard another accounts like that. People not being afraid and they yell at it, and this thing would stop and try to run away from them, and it's running like a human.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's really important to not be afraid, especially the dark. Like, I used to be afraid of the dark at one time, and my grandparents and my great grandparents, they always tell us like, don't be afraid of the dark. If it wasn't for the dark, it covered us like like a blanket, a magic blanket, and made us
Right.
invisible. If it wasn't for the night, you wouldn't be here. The night was on our side. It helped us escape when the genocide was going on. So
Right.
it's nothing you shouldn't be afraid about, but it's something to be aware about. And the more we talk about things like this that's going on in Navajo Nation, just imagine how many people has that same experience, if not worse.
Hmm.
And it's good for our listeners to understand because we have so much misinformation out there. People, saying plagiarizing Skinwalker, saying it's a spirit, it's a cryptid when he's just a person that has powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, Another thing here, you had a stories of little people too as well, right?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that. So after that incident, my son, this was probably back in like 2015. It'd have been like 5 or something, but he's like screaming in our living room, which I'm sitting at right now, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he said, "There's a little person that just ran past my feet," and he's 5, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just his imagination." And then all of a sudden, my daughters would be like, "There's a little person in here."
Oh my
I'd say it's the
gosh.
size of like the height of a Barbie, maybe like a Barbie doll.
Huh.
And I would hear like I would leave little stuff out for it, because I want to capture this thing.
Hmm.
And so it would take it and leave me little trinkets. And one time I was in my room sitting on the bed and something tapped my shoulder, and I look and I'm like, I saw a shadow just kind of like run from behind me, and I'm like, I know it's it. I'm like, I'm gonna find you. I'm looking around, and then so we're gonna go to bed. I get my phone, and my headboard is like right by the window, so I put my phone like this behind me, and I lay down, and it was like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night. So I get up the next morning and my phone is right side up. And I'm like, I never put my phone that way. So when I pick it up, I look at the phone. That's the one that's on my TikTok. I took a picture of it and it looked like a face, like a little baby face.
Hmm.
And and you could see like it's like green, it's like hazy. And like it took a picture of itself, like a selfie.
Oh wow! What?
And then my
That's
husband's like, look,
crazy.
yeah. And well, he's like, look on the TV. We have a TV in our room and there's little tiny handprints on there.
Ooh.
Like little tiny handprints, just like it was touching the TV. And then we saw a little tiny baby, like I'd say 3 inches, outside on the ground, like little footprints running away from our house all the way into the mesa.
Oh
And we
man.
followed it. Yeah. So
Oh my
I,
gosh.
I hope I see it again. We've been putting the camera out a lot and to try to capture this.
Try some crystals and something shiny. Maybe
Hmm.
a ring that you don't like, and just
Hmm.
put like a rock pile and then put it on top, or bring some tobacco.
Oh
Get some
yeah.
of those authentic tobacco, and then put it on there, and then see what happens. But
Huh.
yes, but one of the things that they can come out of is when a lightning strikes a tree, because when a
Hmm.
lightning strikes a tree, it destroys its whole root and it goes into their world underneath us, and it's tunnels
Huh.
underneath there. But if you go down there, who knows if you ever come back? You might come back out in 2 weeks, 2 years, or 3 generations. And you'll still be the same
Wow.
age. You'll be the same age, and you'll come back to your grandkids, and they'll say, "Hey, we remember you. We talked about you. My great 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 grandfather said we lost his brother, his sister, to the
Hmm.
little people."
Yeah.
And yeah, and didn't you say that it like if you see them, it's for good luck or something like that? You were saying?
Hmm. Because for me, it feels like it's protecting our home. Because
Uh-huh.
even the cats see it. We have like 7 cats,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
Huh.
the cat and uh, it takes care of our cats. Like we see like some of the food has been put out for them. I know the cats aren't doing it themselves,
Oh my
and
God.
the food will be out, or and we put baby powder on the ground, and you could see the little footprints, and I'm like, that has to be that someone is messing with us, but there's only us in the house. There's no little
Yeah.
people, and I want to know like what it wants, what it needs, what it's doing there. It's not here to harm us. I don't think it's not really like scary. It's just
Mhm.
interesting.
I think we have a
Uh,
question from Kurt here. I think from your Skinwalker where you said it was shifting. So did it seem to have legs like a deer? Just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Did?
the horse, when it turned into the horse, it was a different type of hoof sound. So that's where I was. Yeah,
Oh, oh
it,
my
it was
gosh.
it was weird. It was like not a horse, like a pony, then it was like a donkey. It was just weird. It was like it was trying to shift into something to scare me. That's what I felt like.
hmm.
And I'm afraid of horses. So I know it's really weird, but I when I get near a horse, it really spooks me, and the horses feel it too. And
Mhm.
I freeze. I really freeze and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it was trying to change into something to scare me, to figure out, to feed off that fear. And when it changed into that horse, my husband happened to be there and he just jumped in front of me. That's what I just keep picturing in my head, the
Mhm.
transformation
Mhm.
of this.
Let's yeah, right. Let's
Yeah.
let's let's give this guy a little information. He doesn't believe in the Black Witch. Can you tell him what is a Skinwalker? More of
Uh,
a shape shifting. Like we have some medicine mans, some are they see in the future, they see days ahead. And some will use the crystal gazers, and some of them
mhm,
are the hand tremblers, and then they work good, they do the work for the light, and then some get corrupted, by the god of the black, because the thunder god gave a lot of these gifts, especially for traveling fast. And as the thunder god was teaching all these Navajo medicine men, the god, the Yei of the Yei legend, the black god, the god of the blackness, the darkness.
Yeah.
He's observing all that, so he came and he offered the medicine men more power, if you do this and do that. And so we do have the dark workers of the dark and workers of the light.
Hmm.
So if Mr. Rob, anytime you have free times, we invite you to come to the Navajo Nation and we'll see what happens. And you'll be a believers. We're us from the Navajo Nation, we're knowers, and all these paranormal things that happen across the world, it feels like finally everyone's catching up to us, and they're like,
Yeah.
let's talk about this now. They're finally seeing what we've been seeing here.
Yeah.
It does feel good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Darren, you have anything you want to add?
Uh, I'm just my mind's so caught up on this transformation, man. I've seen a couple of videos on like YouTube of like I think it's like India, America's Got Talent and stuff. I don't know if you ever seen a video where the boy
Yeah.
actually transformed into like a zebra or something, a
Yeah.
dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right
I
on
got
So
stage
that
and live.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm thinking. My mind's just so caught up on like trying to put myself in your place right there, just seeing a live transformation like this. It's such an odd
Mhm.
occurrence, but man, people always say like, yeah, it's shape shifting witch, but when you actually see the shape shifting, that I think that's the part that it's kind of brings it
Mhm.
brings this darkness into the light when it comes down to it, man.
Mhm.
It's so strange. It's a weird, strange occurrence, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like
it,
a lot
And
of
I
time.
didn't
Oh,
believe any
sorry.
of this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't believe any of this. I never believed in all that kind of stuff. I was the
Yeah.
skeptic, I was the one that
Right?
was like, whatever, whatever, what I'll believe it when I see it. And I keep seeing all this stuff now. you know?
wow,
Mhm. It happens. This surely does happen, and I think it needs to be studied. And one of the things that we can do is, talk about it like here, and we can all get some thermal night vision, some high powered camera, and we can say, hey, this is what we can prove. We're
Yeah.
more beyond than just talk. We'll give knowledge and shed some light on these topics. Why they originate, why, from what we can remember. But what we can do is just have audio, have video, have footage,
Hmm.
and have witnesses, and then have where they nest, and if we can figure out, learn more about these creatures, the better off our children will be in the future, knowing more about them than we did, than our ancestors did. And if we can learn to coexist more about them, and watch out for each other and be safe and take care of your livestock, that's what's
Yeah.
going on, a lot of livestock mutilation too. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And have you seen experienced any of that as well?
Yeah, there's a lot down here. And we're so remote, this, I mean, it's like 15 miles to the nearest store.
Hmm.
And that's 15 miles. That's like 30 minutes to get to the store. And so along there, it's open range. So there's a lot of like when you're just walking or like, especially in the mountains, you'll see like all these cattle just, they're drained, but they're not eaten.
Oh yeah, yeah, just the
You
blood.
know, yeah, there's like holes in them, but they're not eaten. Even, I mean, you'd think the coyotes and all the animals around here or the cougars and stuff would eat the meat, but they leave it there. It's just drained of blood.
Mhm.
huh.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. The ones that I've been I investigated is, they all have a patch of wool that's ripped off of, and some of them have three puncture holes like a triangle.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
drain the blood, and then some of them have a fine cut like on the back arm going all the way down the main arteries. They're drinking from there. Then the
Hmm.
other ones, they pull out one leg out of its socket so it can't run around, and they go and drink the blood, and they throw them in the corner of the corral. And
Hmm.
it's not a pretty sight. The ones that
Mm-mm.
are on our side of the reservation, these Sasquatches have 3 toes, and there's 4 toes ones, and they have 1 inch claw going over. That's gonna be all in this documentary pretty soon. It's it's pretty scary. It's scary and it's real, and
Mm.
all these stories our ancestors have been telling us, and we always like, well, whatever, let's go
Yeah.
spotlighting, let's go walk down to the river tonight, and then we see these things,
Yeah.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah. Darren, you got anything to add to it?
What do you think this is? Do you think it's Bigfoot, even a UFO? You think this is actually UFO mutilation or Bigfoot, or what's your inkling on why
I
these?
don't For me, I don't think it's Bigfoot because like my grandparents would say, that's what everybody that would see it in the mountain, they'd be like, leave him alone. It's like a family of 4, they believe. And the feet,
Ooh.
range from like the smallest footprint that we've seen was probably 12 inches, and the longest one was 16
Hmm.
inches long, the footprint. And we would leave them alone. And there's a place actually up where the place that we call Bigfoot Point, where everybody kind of crosses when they're going to their campgrounds up in the mountain. They leave marbles, they leave apples, they leave little, like offerings to this whatever it is. But when you come back through the next day, it's gone, and it'll be like a feather, a rock, or something left, behind. So
Hmm.
it's more like a honorary thing for us out here. So I don't think it would hurt our livestock. I'm thinking more like aliens, or something like that. Or
Yeah.
well, like
Oh.
the
Mhm.
chupacabra. Have you guys
Yeah,
heard?
the
Yeah.
bloodsuckers. Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
they're saying.
Hmm.
I have witnesses over on Western Navajo Nation that they every evening they have a picnic basket and they put food in there, leftovers, anything in there that they can, and they go out to this forest, very remote part, and this is 7,000 to 8,000 feet elevation. It's a high
Hmm.
mesa. So
Yeah.
they go over there and they leave this picnic basket with the white sheet covering it, and this lady would go like 100 yards, 150 yards away, and she would hide and watch and wait. And she said around the same time in the evening, a family would come, like a mom and a daddy. The dad would have 2 babies on his shoulders. And then they'd walk up to the basket and he'd put his arm down. And then the 2 little Sasquatches would slide off his long arm. And they
Hmm.
would go to the basket, lift it over. They both look at it and they take out items one by one, hand it up to their parents. Then they put the blanket back right over like the way it was. And then they climb back on the dad's arm. They walk back off into this one cave area where they live. So I asked that lady, I was like, um, why do you feed them? What makes you feed them? And she's like, simply because I don't want them to go after my sheep. She's like, I've been doing this for 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
They have
Wow.
never taken a sheep. She's like, you're more than welcome to come back here with your team whenever you want, but please do not log, do not drink. I was like, don't worry, I'm not gonna log. We need every tree we can here, and I don't drink. I'm 10 years sober. I was like, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
come back here with some cameras, and if I knock on your door smelling like crap, that means I seen something scary and I crap myself. so, so she's like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, keep an extra underwear here for me. I might need that later, Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then I have
But
another friend in the Black Mesa area. He tried leaving vegetables, fruits out, nothing, but he left raw meat out, and it took the raw meat only.
Hmm.
And
hmm.
that's a different part of the reservation. I am
Yeah.
well aware different parts have different families and
Yeah. I
different
think so.
variations. Yeah, different variations. Some look different, but over in Western Navajo Nation, there's a white one too. There, you got a white one, and
Wow.
yeah, we got more goatman sightings and more scimitar sightings where people are hitchhiking on the road. They get chased down by these creatures. It's
Wow.
pretty wild. It's pretty wild. After September, I'm gonna be out and about on Navajo land. But Darren,
Yeah.
you have any questions, Darren?
Uh, yeah, it's just a nice thought that these Bigfoot have families. That's I can just imagine just seeing a Bigfoot with a little, what do you call it, baby sass. crawling around all over, just being kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And that's pretty nice. That's a nice thought. But
Mm.
it, it's kind of odd that she did this lady ever take pictures or anything like that of the Bigfoot that she's been tending to for 20
No, it's
plus years?
secret. Secret.
Mm.
Secret?
She doesn't want no one back there. The road to get back there is right next to her house.
Oh,
A very, very narrow road, thick forest. There's only one way back there. And you
yeah.
have to
That
go right.
sounds.
You have to go right by her window, like a drive-through looks like. So
Huh.
yeah, that whole area is hers. No one lives beyond her. It's really nice
Yeah.
area. It gets eerie back there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds like a nice
Yep.
place to do some investigation.
Mhm.
Oh,
Go out
I
there.
got plenty of places. I just need backup.
Yeah.
My wife
Yeah.
does not
Well,
want me to go alone.
yeah.
No one's
If
brave
I got
enough.
time, man. If I got time, man,
Bring it.
I'll
Bring
head out there
extra
with you.
underwear.
And oh
Bring
yeah, I'll
me
bring
extra
some. And
underwear.
and
Diapers.
you kind
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
need
we got.
people out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
Yeah,
to
I would definitely go because as long as you run slower than me,
Yeah. Hey,
trip you
I
on the
tell
way.
my yeah, exactly. I tell my wife, "Let's go. You'll be enticing." I don't use the word bait. I'm like, you're gonna be enticing. You're gonna be tempting for him to come. Yeah.
yeah. We,
So
we need more
we got
people.
we got
We
Rob
need
Ruth saying that grew up in South Texas, and I seen that before in Catula on a hunting ranch. Said and then he adds on says like cattle just drained out in a field, like WTF crazy. So he's saying that like a cow that got drained of a blood in a ranch in Texas. Cow mutilations, like they say in Skinwalker Ranch area.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and Heidi says exactly correct. I found that out. Okay, that's a different conversation. But yeah, thank you guys for having a convo in
yeah.
there. Appreciate that.
But
Um,
we need more people go out there and you know, someone to scream Beetlejuice. So if yeah, like I
anytime.
said, if I got time, man, I'll go out there and say Beetlejuice, 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 and see what happens.
Mhm.
It
Document
remind
it.
it reminds me of this guy on TikTok. He's like this guy. He's out here in Arizona. I'm not sure where, but he's like
A white
he's
dude.
trying. Yeah, he's like big or
Skinwalker,
skinwalker,
Skinwalker.
skinwalker.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
this guy. I
I'm like,
commented on there. Yeah, I'm like, what
I
are
was
you
like, it's
doing?
not candy, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's so
I
funny.
comment. I was like, those guys have their own jobs they're doing, and they got bigger fish to fry. They got missions to do, and you are nowhere near their radar. I was like, if anything, you're
Yeah,
just gonna get a ghost chase you around or follow you home. That's the only thing you're gonna
Mm.
get.
yeah.
Oh man.
But
This one
about
time
this.
though. Oh, sorry.
Oh
Go
yeah,
ahead,
good.
Darren.
Go.
Oh, I was gonna say like when you were saying Beetlejuice, Darren. This one, another area. These other witnesses, a family. They're really close. They do make intelligent contact with this guy. Like for instance, they go out their trailer to go to the outhouse, and they're walking on this trail, and they think that it's a bush on the side of the trail, but it's Bigfoot, like making himself small, and he reaches out and grabs their ankle or their leg, and he runs off. Or they come
Oh,
out their doors of the trailer. He has his long ass arms. He reaches through the porch. Remember the woods are like this. He reaches through there. He grabs their ankle, and then they freak out. He lets go, and he runs off on all fours. He's
Oh
just
my
huh.
playing
god.
tricks like that. They call him the mischievous young one, and then the big one, a big one. They call him George. They gave them all names, and then while
Huh.
we were there, interviewing these guys, like around 11 o'clock at night, they came out. We got done out of the Hogan. It was a long interview, a father and a daughter. You can see on the documentary. So when they came out, I was like, "Hey, do your calls. You guys do your calls. Let me hear what kind of type of calls you do." So the girl, she's all, "Ah!" I swear to you, I heard a scream coming from deeper in the canyon, and then her dad went on with a deeper voice. "Oh!" The long one. He made it drag, and then from towards Window Rock area, the canyon, we heard a chirp, like a bird call. There's two of them. And then we're in this canyon, this ridge that went around us, and these calls were going back and forth all the way around to sound like a cougar. I was like, that's a cougar call, because they go, ah. they open their mouth, they go ah, make that high pitch like a bird type of noise. So they were like, "Is that a bird?" I was like, "Dude, it's 12 o'clock at night. There's no birds making that noise." And then
Mhm.
the family, they're like, "If it's a mockingbird, it's a skinwalker." So everyone's loading their weapons, right? And I was like, "Whatever it is, it better come and make his debut right here." I was all with the camera,
Yeah,
and
trying to catch it. Yeah.
yeah, I was walking the dangerous part. The William Jevening and Adam, the Bigfoot expert investigator, and the Hollywood producer, they had to bring me back in. They're begging me not to walk off. They're like, we don't want you to be Bigfoot food.
Oh
So
man.
Huh.
this guy came close to us. He grunted at Adam, the producer, and he grunted at me. And
Wow.
that is crazy. It's so I have another place there. Hopefully, we can make intelligent contact one day. So they're in good terms with that Bigfoot there.
Hmm.
Bigfoot doesn't bother them or anything. But every now and then they'll lose a cow. They seen Bigfoot go up to the cow, pull his two back legs out. Then at nighttime, when the sun goes down, he comes back and he carries the cow off. Yeah, so
Wow.
that's
Wow.
that every now and then horses go missing there. They say a big white Bigfoot. He likes to munch on horses. I found his
Hmm.
kill pile one time. It's scary. It's scary. That's 4th of July. I plan on camping around there. We found its nest. All the nests it made, like your nest. All the wood were woven. They were like
Yeah.
woven together. Yeah, and
Yeah.
examining it is very intelligent. Someone with digits. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
had time to do this. And art. Like it in its own unique way. And here is yours right here. Let's see here. 1 second here. I really like the one you found. It's probably one of the better looking nests I've ever seen. Let's see to me. Right there.
Oh
Oh,
yes,
little.
right. Yeah. Look
Well,
how
that's a
just
nice little.
perfect it looks.
Yeah, it's a nice little hut. You know. Huh.
Hmm.
How big is this
Yeah.
thing? How tall is this?
Like
Looks like about 5 feet,
yeah,
almost
about
Oh,
five
five
so
feet.
he.
feet
Because I'm 5'3" and
by.
I still had to bend down through the door or the
Oh, that
entrance.
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
cool. They make
Yeah.
these small ones for their babies while they're out doing what they're doing. The babies will stay at the nest. And sometimes people like my Blackfeet friends up north of Montana, they would find a nest like this, and they would see a baby Sasquatch in there eating either a moose or deer or even a bear. They seen Bigfoot
Wow.
carrying a grizzly bear on his shoulder. They
I
seen the
bet.
baby. Yeah, they seen the babies in the nest eating the meat. That's how close those guys got up there.
Wow.
I like this nest. It's
Oh,
pretty cool.
yeah. Real
Got any questions?
cozy.
Oh man, that's really nice. Let's see here.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you got any questions there?
Uh, yes. Going back to this, the troll. What is this? For me, I picture like one of those kids' books. Troll with a big nose and stuff like that. Raggedy clothes. Go. What did
Um,
the troll that you seen or look like or
it
heard about?
looks like oh my gosh, like a little old man, like a gnome.
Hmm. A
Yeah,
gnome? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
like
that's the same one they seen on my side. Yeah, the
yeah,
gnome.
like a little gnome, but it's wrinkly and it has like a scaly skin,
Mhm.
like a gremlin,
Huh.
Um,
um
mhm.
Was it
it does have
wearing clothes?
yeah, I
Or
was gonna say it had these ratty clothes, but it looked like a skin, like a buckskin.
hmm.
Wow. Over
So
here on my side of the reservation, they come out portals. When they
Mm,
come out portals, there's two of them. They have their own language, and they're like bit 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 bit. So they come out. So keep an eye on the washes. Wherever there's a wash near you, that's where a lot of the portals open up. And they usually open up around noon to 2. No one's afraid. No one has enough guts to stay until the sun goes down. And they see the
mm,
black dog come out that they can't shoot. Everyone's GoPro would malfunction.
wow.
All
hmm.
the technologies will go off around that portal. You see the gnome come out. You see a gigantic black bat crawl out, fly around, screeching, go back into the
Oh
portal.
my
This
gosh.
portal opens and closes, opens, and then something comes out, closes. Then it opens and a pterodactyl flies around, screeching in the air, and it dives down to the creek. portal opens, whoom, goes right back in.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
That pterodactylers that we were coming up from Red Mesa at the Four Corners, the medical center down here, and we were driving back towards Sweetwater, and this is when they were just barely doing the construction on the road because we finally got a highway. Um, so we were driving, and it was during the day, and this shadow just went over us, and I looked to my right out the window, and it's a huge bird. It wasn't like a pterodactyl, it
oh
was
my
like
gosh,
a
Thunderbird.
giant, yeah, exactly. And it was like an eagle. It was enormous, and it dove in front of us, like right in front of the car, and it stayed so low to the ground that you had to really look to make sure that you were seeing what you were seeing, because it looked like a shadow. um like if you were looking from above, and it just looked like a shadow on the ground, but it was enormous, and it passed us. And we kept, it was like me and my kids, and we're like, did you just see that? It's like, does nobody see that? I'm like, everyone's around, but, and we're like, no way. And then that same week we had heard a bunch of people talking about like their animals gone missing and stuff like that, because I'm sure as big as that bird was, it probably picked up a lot of cattle and stuff like that.
Back in the
Wow.
day, Shiprock, they used to say that the Thunderbird or pterodactyl creature will pick up all Navajos, boom, then fly up the Shiprock and eat them up there. Used to have a nest up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the
I've heard
ones the
that.
two warriors killed too as well when they went on rampage,
Yeah.
killing all these cryptid creatures, reduced their numbers to
Mm.
very small, but apparently they're out and about like rabbits, which is cool.
Hmm.
We can share.
Huh.
There's enough for all. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think about all these old stories. Like they had to originate from something. They weren't just made up. So saying that,
Yeah.
it kind of makes you wonder about these two, the what do you call them, monster slayers. Like
Hmm.
it makes you
Gay and
think,
Hmm.
like,
Shishi.
if these things are popping up now, like, what makes you think that those two warriors were real? Like they were
They were.
actually
Hmm.
real beings right here,
Hmm.
slaying these
Yeah.
beasts.
y-
It kind of makes you want to get back. Look more up at the history of the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
Hmm.
the history, our culture says that one point in time, all these monsters almost ate us all. They almost ate all of humanity, including Bigfoot, because he preferred us. He preferred blood. And he loved babies because they're tender. So he always swiped the babies that were just born. So the lady, the mom, she hid those two babies. One born for water, one born for I kind of forgot the original words for it, but she hid those two warriors, and they went to the sun. The god, his name's Jonah. So they went on the offensive. They killed all these monsters, all these different type of monsters, chased them into the Grand Canyon. Made a deal, say you guys are for the night. You guys leave us alone.
Hmm.
And what they did was when they came back up, they had that bow and arrow that the Creator gave them. It shot out lightning. So they said that this is too dangerous for any man to have. This is not right for anyone else but us to have. But let's go and put this somewhere where no man will ever find it. And do you know where they stashed it? Near present day Mexican Hat underneath the San Juan River.
Hmm.
hmm,
They put that bow down there. So a lot of these that San Juan River there, like a lot of our ancestors during the genocide, Kit Carson, the Utes, all the Pueblo warriors, Mescalero Apaches, the Mormons, the Mexicans, you name it, everyone was coming towards us, and the only place of route escape that we had to go on the western side of the Navajo Nation was to San Juan River, and there's just one part of the river where we lost that we knew to dive in. When you dive in, you keep going. Then there's an air pocket in there. You go inside of there, and it's a cave inside, and it's a tunnel
Hmm.
that goes deeper into the earth. And Hashkehani, our chief that was never captured, never signed no treaty, he was in there with his family. They waited 4 days. He kept coming out from under the water to check the cavalry. The enemy scouts were all there. Our own people were betrayed us too. They were rounding us up, the Navajo scouts. So they waited there 4 days. and then they were gone. They came back out to go hide again. So San Juan River is very, very, very magical. And then like our word for all these creatures is alele. That's my handle on Facebook. Alele Nalka. That means mystical investigators. So that's what our team is. So that's what our word is for all these magical creatures. They say
Oh,
alele. Alele, it's they're magical, they're mystical beings.
hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Let's see what these guys say here. Hmm. Let's see here. There's a deep southern legend most never will hear about because it's very closed community, but I'm gonna post it on my page. Oh hey, leave your page or contact us, and I like to check that out. Okay, let's see here. Let's read the questions. See here. Oh hey, Teresa said beautiful nest. And Heidi says that's amazing. They're talking about your nest. We just went on talking. We just left our
I
viewers. Sorry. We got into we got too deep right there. See, Kurt says great find. That's a really great nest. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just let your comments go. That's what's up. So you got any more there? Love that, Don. That's what's up. Keep watching. You never know what you'll hear. Some new stories. So, Darren, do you have any more questions for Tanya?
Oh yeah. Why do you think? Why do you think all this stuff happens to you? It seems like you. Why do you think this shape shifting picked you to unravel this mystery?
Give you a free show. Lift up his
Yeah.
skirt. Like, here's my legs. My ankle.
Well, I think it's because when I was ever since I was little, I could be able to like I would dream things and then I would tell them like I think this is going to happen and stuff like
Foresee.
that. Yeah, and it would
Yeah, gift.
happen and would freak everyone out. And then I started going with my grandpa to like meetings and stuff like that to help him with the ceremonial stuff. And he would tell me, um, tell me what you see in the fire. Tell me what you see. And I would say it and he would repeat it, I guess in Navajo at the time. And and he would be using me to look into this like like the crystal ball or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just have this sight or something. And I didn't really understand
Foresee.
it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't understand, I guess, the gifts that I had until later on. But I don't really, I don't put it out there and be like, this is, I feel like you're going to die someday, just go up to somebody, not like that, but more like if it's something that I really need to say or, and let someone know, I'll, let them kind of know that you should probably be careful where you're traveling or,
Yeah.
Something more
Yeah, like
calm.
I understand what you mean because like I go to a restaurant, they say leave a tip. Yeah, right. Stay out of dark alleys.
Yeah.
Stay out of there. You don't know what's gonna happen in there. It's just a bad feeling. Don't go in there. That's the best tip I can give you. But that's
Mhm.
besides the point. There,
Yeah.
that what you're talking about is the gift of foreseeing. You would foresee things, and even in the Bible, he God says that they're not dreams, like a lot of mainstream people say, oh, it's just a dream, forget
Right.
about it. But for
Mhm.
us, we get it like I seen it, I foreseen, you foresee it. And even the Bible says that he calls them night visions. He places these visions in your head when you're at your weakest to try to talk to you. And then like in our way, we would say I foresee. He
Right.
initiated, like I may say it wrong, but in Navajo that means I am foreseen. I had a dream, I foreseen this play out. It's gonna happen, and then even went to one of our chiefs on the Western Navajo, another one that was never captured. We had multiple chiefs with their own bands. This guy, his name was Yeli. His descendants are in Aneth area. So Yeli means the one who quivers. So whenever
Mm,
the enemy would come near or the cavalry would come near, he would get the chills on the bottom of his back going all the way up his neck. He would jump up and tell everyone, "Let's get out of here, let's get out of here." They would move, and sure enough, the cavalry would be coming, scouts would be coming around, flooding the area while they're already hightailing it. He was always ahead. You know who else had that gift? Geronimo.
hmm.
Geronimo had the gift of foreseeing. So, like, if our ancestors had certain gifts, they'll pass down on to us. You know that the gifts that we need to survive. You know, we're gonna
Yeah.
outlast you. You may try to come and take our life, but we're gonna outlive you because we're hardy people. You know, we got to go back to being a hard people. You know, to live off of less. Hide your seeds up in the high area. When we come back from hiding, we'll go back up there and get those seeds and we'll grow some squash, beans, apricot again, you know, all that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is, you know, gifts to us from what our ancestors used to do. And even spoke with another family that they had a granddaughter that came from a person that had the gift of shifting. And this little girl would shift to a dog. And this little girl would outrun a fast dog on her 2 feet. She was quick, and they told her they take her to a medicine man to get rid of that shifting because she couldn't stop it. And her dad was the same thing. He was raised by these Mormons in Utah, and he would come back home and he wouldn't know how. He didn't speak Navajo. He didn't know anything. And this thing would come upon him and he would bring him back to Navajo land. And that,
Wow.
yeah, so you know, these all these gifts, you know, we all have different gifts. You know, the hand trembler, you know, seen in the fire. Have they ever take you to a ground and told you to go dig in a certain part, and you dig and you brought up something? 'Cause sometimes they
Yeah.
do that. Oh man, tell us about that. Share with that. That's pretty cool. I like those ones.
Yeah. We okay. So we were down by the river, and it was an evening time, and it was my grandparents and a couple of my uncles, and this guy was. He was kind of following us around, but he's like, can I speak to the girl there? I was like 12, and I was like, no, I don't want to go over there or talk to you. And he's like, no, come here. I need your help. And he's like, I've been fishing here. But I see something right there. Do you see it? And I kept looking. I'm like, yeah, I saw it. Was okay. So in the water, it was kind of the shallow area. And when I looked in the water, it was something really shiny, like it was bright, like I was looking through the dirt. And I kept looking at it. And my grandparents were like, what are you looking at? And nobody saw it but me,
Mhm.
because I think he saw me kind of kicking it because I was messing with it earlier. And I was like, what is that? So he's like,
Mhm.
can you grab it? And I said, yeah. My grandpa's like, who are you? You know, talking to this guy. And he's
Wow.
like, I want to know if she can grab it because I can't grab it. And I'm like, why not? So I go into the water and I get into the water and I put my hand into the dirt and I'm like, it's getting, I'm, really digging in there. I'm like, I take this rock out and it's like this crystal. And to everybody, it's a rock,
Oh
but to
my
me, it's just
gosh.
it's clear to me. And I'm like, you
Mhm.
guys don't see it. How do you not see this? And I'm like showing them, and they're like, it's a rock. I'm like, and that guy's like,
Wow.
and he's like, can I have that? And I'm like, no. And I didn't want to give it to that guy.
Don't. Yeah, don't.
I was like,
Oh
no, I
my
don't want to.
gosh.
And so he's like, no, give it to me. And I was like, why is he acting like he got violent? And he's
Oh
like,
my
so
gosh.
my grandparents were like, get out of here. You're just using her to get whatever it was. So I still have that rock.
Oh
And
man, hide it, hide it, put it somewhere. He's
uh,
probably out looking for. He's probably the one that was shifting, falling in front of you. Hey,
ew, right?
no.
Oh man.
Stalking
Wow,
me or something.
That means you're a hand trembler and you're a crystal gazer and you're a foreseer. That's what that means. So like
Maybe.
when you're a hand trembler, like they use the horn toad for protection from evil spirits and blessings like prayers. Then they use the horn toad is che, right? We say
Mm,
che. Then do you know that we use the Gila monster? Do you know that too?
hmm.
And we call the Gila monster Chanel. You guys know that?
Oh.
So we use the Gila monster for offense, then the horn toad for defense. So we use the Gila monster would tell us where the enemy's coming, which route he would look that way, and we would set up the ambush from the enemies. and he would also help locate lost ones from the Mexican, Spanish raiders, the Zuni raiders. Those other raiders would take our children, and we would go turn to those people, the crystal gazers, the hand tremblers, all the for offense, defense, and seeing the future. And where's my baby? And here's a crystal rock. Here's your baby, and then they would see it. They would like even Bigfoot, he would take somebody, take a sheep, take something. Where's that sheep at? And then he will show you Bigfoot's eating it. And
Yeah.
he will say, who cut my hair? And he'll show you it's this person. Don't say the name, only you know, and you will see that person.
Hmm.
That's what they done. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you should play with that rock. Okay? Don't play
It
with
would
it too
tell your
much. You'll
future.
go. Don't play with it too much. You'll go blind. I was just kidding. The rock.
Huh.
The rock.
Yeah.
She has the rock. That is awesome.
Huh.
I bet you if you put that rock over, you're gonna grow long nails and you're gonna be. I was kidding.
Hmm.
That's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that's if you would have gave him that rock, it's like I gotta find another person to explain this a lot better because I butcher things up. Too much information, like da da da. But
Hmm.
when they take that from you, they're taking your blessings, they're taking your forces, they're taking your like all the good stuff that you're gonna have with your kids. They're gonna taint
Hmm.
your whole line when you have kids. They're gonna be into drugs, alcohol, womanizers, disrespecting their elders, all that if you gave it to him. So that person that was there, he's some type of medicine man, maybe a bad one that was following you around
Hmm.
because they
Yeah,
do
because he
that.
was following us.
Yeah,
He was
they
following us
take
everywhere.
yeah, because they take a girl, mainly a girl most of the time, out in the middle of nowhere, and they say, "Do you see that same thing?" And the girl would bring up old bags, bring up rocks, bring up all kinds of stuff, and he would say, "The Anasazi's left that one, and this one he took it from her." And she had a really, really, really bad life and all her kids. It's real sad how it played out. So that's a good
Wow.
thing you didn't give that up because he
Yeah.
would like own you because like all these skinwalkers, they all like want control over another human. Be able to be psychologically, physically, and spiritually. It
Yeah.
all goes. Just think about Diddy. You know what I mean? He puts you to sleep and he has power over you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's just like that. It's just like the evil, dark, blackmailing type of deal. That.
Hmm.
Oh well, it's just like from what we dealt with from our side of the reservation. Monument Valley at one point had a really bad that problem, really bad problem that can go on for days. Um, so you have a tarot card thing you're doing too, huh? I forgot to upload.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tell
Uh,
us about that.
so I started. My grandpa was, like I said, he was a medicine man, and he gave me these playing cards one time, and he's like, "Do you know how to use these?" And I'm like, "I don't. It's playing cards." So, and he's like, "Put them down," and all of a sudden, when I would put them down, I'm like, not like it would be like a vision, like images would pop in my head, and I'd be like, "Those aren't my thoughts. Though these aren't my. I don't know how to explain it. They weren't my thoughts." I'm
They're
like,
placed inside of you. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so when he'd like, there's a patient coming in, so we'd put down, the ceremonial stuff, and he's like, she's gonna do the cards for you first, and then I'm gonna do the what needs to be done. She's like the, what do you call it? The person who uh gives you the diagnosis.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And then
that too.
yeah, and then I'll, perform whatever needs to be done. So that's kind of how he explained it. And so I would do the cards, and so when I would put down the cards, I would look and think like, these aren't my thoughts, and it would kind of scare me a little because I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm thinking. But some most of the time it'd be missing people that they would come to my grandparents for, my grandpa for, and looking for missing persons. And I would see like automatically, like I would see a room, and I'd be like, it's a red room, and they're like, oh my gosh, and they would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But I couldn't tell them like where. I would just see from the person's point of view that's missing, like, I
Hmm.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I had my hair cut one time, and I seen where my hair was. I was in a cave. Navajo lady with her hair covering her face. It was Pepper. She had my hair right here, and she was chanting like death, like I'll never have my foot tracks made on Mother Earth again, cursing my
Wow.
whole family and me, and she was spinning me around in circles really fast, and she was giggling, and I would wake up dizzy. So every time I go to sleep, I would wake up in that cave to that lady chanting death chants to my hair. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Uh,
that's what from my experience.
is your grandfather still around?
N-
Is
No,
it
he's not.
or oh it was
Mm.
huh?
Actually,
It's
He was
kind
all
of weird that
uh
the medicine man they kind of the
pass
ones
on
I
and
seen they
stuff.
kind of they kind of indoctrinate other subcultures. You know, like I seen one. He had an evil eye rock. I think it's
yeah. Oh
like a
yeah.
Hindu. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a neat looking rock. And later on, I found out it was a different culture, uh,
Oh wow.
identity stuff. You know, so it's kind of strange that like your father would use tarot cards like that. You know, it's kind of strange. But
Hmm.
what else did he do? Did he try teaching you anything or?
I had a
m-
question. I forgot.
Mainly he would just like I know how to set out this equipment and stuff like that. I wish I could remember the songs. I I I remember he's
It's
like I
really
know.
hard to remember. Hmm.
Yeah, and they're long songs,
Yeah, and
and
they
you have
have
to
to
say
be
it
sung
just
right.
right. Yep,
Yeah,
you have to say
yeah.
it just right, and um, you have to put everything out right. And he was a hand trembler,
Hmm.
and then he would take me to other, medicine men, and they're like, okay, how far is she willing to take this? And my grandpa would be like, nope, nope, we're not going to go there.
Oh,
Meaning, I'm thinking skinwalking stuff, dark stuff. So I'm
yeah.
like, dang it.
Right here, right here. Hey, right here. I was kidding.
I'm like,
Sacrifice
dang it.
Darren. Sacrifice Darren. I was kidding. I was just kidding. I didn't mean that. I was just joking.
Oh man.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But he just taught me how, like, he's like, okay, the cards seem like it works for you, so go ahead and use the cards. And I'm like, I don't really need the cards. I can just look at someone and just kind of know, going off of just their vibes and just being around them. And I'm like, some people are like, wow, she's kind of mean, and I'm like, no, I just don't, I don't think I should be around you or something, or there's just something's wrong in that environment that I'm in, so I'll take myself
Mm.
away from there because it'll drain me. I'll be
Yeah.
tired.
I
Or
have
if
a question.
someone's
Oh,
angry, I'll get angry.
oh yeah. Yeah, like when someone comes in the room and it just changed the whole thing. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, one person can just change one room full of 100 people, 20 people. Just one person, you're
Hmm.
like, oh, I feel like I don't like you already. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. And my dog's the same way too. I'm like, right, right. I know what you mean. And another question. Sometimes when you would see people like like alcoholics, you ever seen like a pig or a monkey type of thing sitting on their shoulders, like hugging their head? You ever seen that?
No, I would see themselves, or I would see them like a, how do you say it? Like if I'm looking at myself right now, there's another person behind me. But if I move
Oh
really
yeah,
quick, I'll see that person. But they're
yeah.
fading. They're deteriorating.
Hmm.
Well,
Oh, she
it looked like
froze. She froze. Oh man, right when it
yeah.
got good.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is intending
it's-
to
this is the paranormal radio network.
Did it come back
So
on?
oh, there you go.
yeah,
Oh,
Like,
you're
scary.
yay!
I was kidding. I was like, this is a paranormal radio network. This will happen, everybody. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead as you were saying.
Oh,
You left us with the cliffhanger.
so I would see the image, but I can smell the sickness on them too.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, like when like my mom, she had cancer, and I kept thinking, like, I could smell this like sweet, almost like a ripe banana. And I kept
Really?
thinking, like, you smell like a banana, mom. And she's like, what?
huh.
And then pretty soon I started, like, seeing a dark spot, like a shadow, like somebody I don't know, like there was a shadow or something dark on her back, and I'm like, why is that? There's no shadow around here, but I would see the shadow, this misty part on her body, and she had colon cancer. And she's like, did you smell the cancer? And then so I would go to like the what do you call it? The places where they do the chemo. And I would sit there with her, and that's all I would smell is bananas. It smelled like ripe bananas. The whole place, everywhere I went, I'm like, wow, it smells like ripe bananas in here. Is that what cancer smells like? And then I can even smell when snakes are around. I don't know if I heard people can do that too. Like it's like a musty, weird cantaloupe smell. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead, Darren.
You really got some abilities right there. It's
help us find Bigfoot now.
You ever thinking about like
you're hired? Go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
You ever think about fine tuning these abilities you have, or do you ever just think about it? Like,
if I knew how.
Yeah, get him married off. I was kidding. You know what I was thinking? It works. I was like, hey, I was kidding.
Yeah. Oh my
gosh. Wow.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
It sounds like you really got some good stuff going for you.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's some well placed gifts in your family. Was your mother or your father like this, or which side was your grandfather? Was it your mother?
My mom's side.
Your mom's side?
Yeah.
That's
awesome. On my father's side, it's like it seems like they don't age.
Well, I wish that was a trait that can be passed on too.
Right?
Yeah.
Just wash your face in the morning. That we can start there. That's what I say. If you want to age slow, wash your face in the morning. That's what he's saying. All right, then. Well, let's catch up with these comments on here with our listeners here. In an area about half an hour from me, a guy found a bunch of 3-toe prints right along the creek where the water level went down, so the soil was soft, and there was 4 or 5 detailed prints. Oh, nice, Kurt. Nice. Let's see here. There's another question here, and see. Oh, this is from where we're talking about the foreseeing, the sight, the gift, like what we have going on. Some of us. This is never just a dream. You enter different realms. Yep, astral projecting. Be careful because other people are using the same plane. So there's something that also will chase you back all the way home. And that one is like the girl that looks like the Grudge, and she's crawling and running while you're flying, and she follows where you're going. She follows you on your way home. So don't really travel too much out there on that. Be careful. Let's see here. And then T right here, this is one of our guests, I think in 2 Sundays from now, Tyson or T, he's gonna be coming back on. He was one of our first episodes of the Skinwalker topic. It's really big on Spotify and YouTube right now. It's getting really popular. That episode he says, yes, Geronimo knew the engine out of the skinwalking. That's why I didn't. U.S. Cavalry never caught him. Yeah, like he had a dream that they were coming. He had that gift. Yep, just like Yeli. So he was hiding from Bear's Ears to Cedar Mesa. And they were dwelling on Bear's Ears where Manuelito was born. And then the Mormons and the Paiutes chased off our people off of Cedar Mesa, and they chased them to Aneth, Montezuma Creek, and Monument Valley. They forced us off by gun. Yeah, they forced us off by gun.
Geronimo was like that. Like I heard a story where they would chase him and he would just run across like a tree, and then he would just disappear like out of nowhere, just bush or something, they could never find him like that. He was real tricksy like that, man. Geronimo,
right here, check him out. He's dabbing right here. Then right here is this Friday night. I heard a Bigfoot at the lake. Me and cousins heard it. We were listening for about 1 hour. It was even chasing the horse near us. Yeah, they do like horse. Horses are really healthy. When some of us get sick here on the res, we will give them horse stew. And then like anyone in the community, like who's sick here in the community, we don't really gotta know them. So people would butcher a horse and then give them some stew, and then they'll be okay within a day or within a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You got any more questions for Tonya there? We got 30 more
Uh,
minutes, less than 30 minutes.
Wow, already?
I know it
yeah,
goes by fast.
went by,
I told you
yeah,
you're
it went
gonna
by,
have
it goes
fun.
by quick. Goes by quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you you're gonna have fun, and our viewers, hopefully you guys are having fun with us, But
Uh,
go ahead there.
do you think of documenting everything? Like take pictures. Obviously you got a lot of stuff going for you right now. You got Little People, Bigfoot, even your family gift going on. I would suggest document everything. Like I do my best to do that too when I go back home. Have cameras up and
Hmm.
write stuff down. If I
Oh,
can
yeah.
video it, I'll video it. If I can take a picture, I will. Even we a little while a couple of years ago, we found a little arrowhead, and we're like, I think this is a little person arrowhead because it's smaller than a dime, like a penny. So
Jeez.
it's really odd, but uh, I think the best thing to do, is, just document everything, share it with us, share it with the people that are here, because
Mhm.
and I think that's the reason why we kind of got this podcast going, was just to catalog everything, document everything the best we can, because
Yeah.
just to let people know that yes, this stuff is real. It's just not folklore and fairy tales. And us just being a Native American, we constantly go through just not one but multiple events. Even I'm pretty sure all of us don't have just one story to tell. We all been through something, and then we can always follow it up with like, yeah, I
Mm.
seen this. Oh yeah, and then I also seen some lights in the lights in the sky. I'm not really sure what it is about Native Americans, but we're I think we're just more in tune with. Uh, I want to call it paranormal, but we just have. I guess you would say like we just have the eye to see.
Like the
Connection.
spirit world,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
connected to the
yeah,
spirit realm just a little
Hmm.
bit more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings me to
But
Well,
my next question. What about
yeah.
ghost stories? Do you have any ghost stories or any hauntings of areas or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. In our Hogan.
Okay. Let's hear that. Let's hear
we
that.
we try. I'm like, we try to stay up as late as we can, and we turn on the cameras and everything. And we have this ghost. It's the ones where like it's like a radio static, and then it'll say words every once in a while.
Oh, the voice
And
ghost box or something like that. EMP
yeah,
voice
yeah,
box. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the EVP, yeah. And so we were talking. I was like, "Is anybody here in this Hogan?" And we heard, "Yeah," and I'm like, "That
Ooh.
sounded just like you know somebody I know." And I
Ooh.
kept
it,
listening, and um, we were, you know, just walking around the Hogan, and then we heard the knocking inside the cabinets, and all of a sudden the shout. We have an addition onto the Hogan, like a little bougie. It's all we have a shower and everything. So
Yeah.
the shower came on, and I'm like, so we turned off the shower, and I said, if this is, I won't say the name, but if this is who I say it is, turn on the shower again. The shower comes back on.
huh.
And I'm like, okay, fine. Say something that we're doing right now. And it says, stop drinking.
Oh wow.
Oh man, that's some
I'm
pretty.
like, it's her. It has to be her. Because she always used to say that to us all the time. Because she passed away and she's like, stop drinking. And me and my
Oh, bless
husband
her
were
heart.
like, did she just tell us to stop drinking? But stuff like that, it was nothing scary. But
Um,
in that Hogan, there is another thing that happened. We used to live in that Hogan. We moved down here about 15 years ago. And that before the Hogan had like the restroom and all that stuff, it was just a dirt floor and it was old. And we slept on the floor and everything, and we had no running water, no electricity. Um, my husband was in town at work, and it was like almost midnight, and my mom was in this in the house next door, and I saw a car pull up our driveway, point towards the Hogan, go around our Hogan, and park in front of the door with the headlights facing our door. And I know because I saw it through the little tiny window up on the top of our door. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hello? I'm like, who is that? And the door swings open and there's this figure so thin and skinny. All my kids are just like staring at me like, I'm like, who is this? You know, like, and it was not human. It was, and it didn't have the bulbous head. It wasn't like an alien, like Slender Man, you know, really skinny, like Jack Skellington type of skinny. And it was standing at our door and I could just see the shape of it. This just the silhouette. And all of a sudden the lights turn off, the shape disappears. I could hear my mom coming from the next door, running to our Hogan and like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like screaming. Then I could open my mouth because I was in shock. And then she said, what was that? So our neighbors come over and they're like, there was a light on top of your Hogan, just spinning around your Hogan.
Wow.
And there's one picture that someone took, our neighbor took of that thing on her Hogan. If I could find that, I will post it. But there's a picture of that light on top of our Hogan at the time that thing visited me or us. But it was probably no longer than 30 seconds, or it felt like no longer than 30 seconds, and it was gone. But everybody saw, I mean, because we live next to a community where like, you know, they can see our house and our neighbors are about, I don't know, football field away. And, but I saw this light and I'm like, where did it come from? And so that thing or that I felt it said my name, like it said Tanya. And it was a whisper, it was a low voice, like a deep voice. Like I don't know, kind of scary because it just said my name and I'm like stunned. I just kind of laid there because I was on the ground and I'm like, I couldn't move at all. I couldn't even scream. I was trying to scream and I couldn't move. It's kind of like, you know, how when people have night terrors, you know, you can't really move or scream until the lights went out and then my mom burst through the door. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff's been happening on my property.
Just a few days ago too, didn't you tell me that you heard a scream and you ran home to your kids? You seen a light, wasn't it? A light in the scream, like last week, wasn't it? Yeah, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we were at a friend's house. I say about 2 miles down the road, but she lives on top of a hill and we're down in the canyon. So we can look directly at our house. We can see our lights on and everything, but we're about two miles away. And we heard this screeching noise. And I'm like, what is that? Is that a woman? And this light beam came from the sky and went down to our property. It was green, a green beam of light just shot down and it stayed there for like a few seconds and then it just stopped. So there was like maybe 6 of us there that saw this light. Oh, and it was the time of the blood moon or the strawberry moon or whatever.
Strange things always happen.
The moon was
during
red.
that time. Mm-hmm. Weird things happen during
Yeah,
this
the
time.
moon was red and it was about to set. But when we came home, nobody saw anything. I mean, there was nothing. We looked around and we saw some footprints, but they were like barefoot, like somebody had no shoes on. That was about it.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
That happened. What was that, like 3 days ago? Yeah.
So do you think it's the land, or do you think all this stuff was just drawn to you, like personally, like these little people you have at your house?
I'm thinking me.
Obviously, you got a lot of stuff going. You got a lot of stuff going for yourself. You got a lot of stories I would probably never have heard if it wasn't for this podcast. So, man, it's so strange.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I really love,
you know.
Yeah, I really love how it correlates, like from her area to my side and all the way down to your side. It's all like the same. Even like when you think about it, all the way down to the Apaches, to the Hickory, and even all the way here to the Zion area. I have a white dude. He's the head of a a crew called Community Action Sasquatch Monitoring out in Hurricane, and they seen a gargoyle Yeah,
Uh,
they're running, they're driving right towards him, and he just flew right over like that. And like that one thing you seen. I was listening to Lodge Tales with Rod, and they said that they seen the same skinny type of Slender Man, but he had a coat and a hat on, and he was
Yeah.
jumping off a cliff into traffic, trying to have people run off the road. Weird things like that. So
yeah,
that's,
e-
that's what kind of brought back a memory from Rod's podcast. Like, whoa, you know.
yeah. Even this Slender Man. I have a brother of mine's too that he actually said he's seen not just one, but like three slender, what he called Slender Men once, and he has a bunch of stuff going for himself too. Hopefully, uh, get
Wow.
him on here and let him tell. But it makes you wonder if like how powerful the mind is. Like you people believe so much in one thing that it becomes real. Because this Slender Man popped up as just like a what do you call it, fantasy creepy pasta type deal. But
Oh, like urban
it
legend
makes
type of
you,
thing. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, yeah, and it makes you
Hmm.
wonder how powerful the mind is. Even in the Bible, it says, "If two or three gather in my name, I'll be in the midst of them." So it
I
makes you
think that's
wonder.
him. That's more him, not Slender Man. I think like
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
really believe in
like
something, you bring it to life because I had these
yeah,
Wiccan friends. They had this metal figurine, and they brought this little metal guy to move in front, in this dormitory I was
yeah,
staying in. That dormitory I was staying in was a job corps in Ogden, and bro, I have ghost stories. That job corps used to be a Native American boarding school. All the Blackfeet, Shoshone, Navajos were there, and some were
Hmm.
beat to death. And I didn't even know that. I was communicating with the dead Native American boy. His eye was hanging down here at the bottom of the socket, and he had
mm,
those old school. Remember
Oh
the
my gosh.
onesie? Remember you button it right here on both sides, the old school type of clothes. And he was telling me to play basketball with him, and I went outside with him. And when the door closed, I just woke up and I was crying. I was bawling, man. It was crazy. So, like the Wiccan, if the Wiccans can make, metal things like that come to life, I'm pretty sure. Like even for our culture, we have like the Skinwalkers. There's stories of the hide hovering, the hide drinking water. They leave stuff out, and the hide goes over there and does this thing. And when that person gets shot, that the skin carries them all the way home.
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, so yeah, it's just if you
yeah.
really
It's just
like in our culture, they say if you really believe in it, it will happen. In
yeah, yep,
Navajo,
yep,
yeah. And then
yeah.
same thing
So
if you get your hair cut, if you believe in it, then you really did get cursed. Type of deal. If you believe in it
Yeah.
more, you're giving it power. I think that could be going on happening right there.
yeah,
Possibly.
like just the power of the mind. I think people we got so indoctrinated into this world we that we totally just knocked ourselves off of the spiritual realm of this reality. That we're not humans in the sense
Mm,
that we're like how we were made originally. We just kind of
yeah.
got stupefied, I guess you would say, blunt.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
people just really got to realize how powerful we are. I think out of all the uh, creatures that were made, we weren't called creatures. We're just called man and woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people just need to get back to that spiritual side of humanity, or
Make
just
sure
being
it's
human.
the good spirit, not the bad
Yeah,
stuff. Because
yeah,
I think we've been around the bad ones a lot. That's what made us to start this podcast and try to document all
mhm,
the things that happened to us. And right here we have a guy, Kelsey Jackson, one of my relatives. He has some great stories, man. You guys are gonna like him. So my relative here, his dad used to be a Navajo Nation police officer back in the day. So he
mhm.
was trained by a medicine man too, and he also got blackmailed because this medicine man told him to do a sacrifice, and he didn't. And the medicine man took his sight, and then he met his wife, and his wife was a daughter of a medicine man, so she took him to her dad, and he restored his sight, and
Hmm.
then he
Mm.
taught him how to go to war with these things and how to draw a line in the sand. If that skinwalker comes, these arrows were placed, those arrows will fly to his gut and he'll fall. And then you have to go, when you go to them, he might be half horse, half goat, werewolf, or whatever. But if you are scared of him when you look at them, he's gonna get up and have power over you. Just stuff like that. If you believe in it, you already lost the war type of deal. And Teresa Byers is definitely having fun with you peeps. Well, we are pleased to have you here joining with us and laughing with us, hopefully. Says Heidi says, I agree with manifesting, especially if you have to believe. I live it, smell, fear, hear, taste it. Yep. Yep. It's exactly what goes
I wonder,
on.
I wonder if everybody or people who have like experienced kind of the same things we have or I have, because let me a really quick story. When I was about 5, 6 years old, my sister was probably 3. We went to I can't remember where. I could ask my dad, but we went to a place. It was like a fun center, and it was like an indoor playground. And one time, my sister had to go to the restroom. Weird. I hear like whispering, but and we went to the restroom, and the music shut off. I couldn't hear any more music. Everything kind of went dead, and we were playing around in the restroom with the water. And I said, wouldn't it be weird if like there's nobody else outside? And I just kept saying that, and I had this weird feeling. So my sister's like, let's go. So we opened up the door. There was nobody there. It was dark. The lights were turned off. We were in that whole place, that fun center alone, me and my sister. And I'm like, where did everybody go? And we were running. I ran to the exit first. The door was locked. I went back to where my parents were sitting. There was cold pizza, looked like mold on it. And then my sister kept saying, she's only like 3 at the time. And she's like, we're in the backwards. And I'm like, what's the backwards? She's like, we got to go backwards. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm only 6, so I don't know what she was saying. And she's like, we're in the backwards. And I'm like, what's the backwards? And she's like, we got to go backwards. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's just go backwards. So we kind of retraced our steps and went back. And I said, if you're right, you're going to freak me out because how is this possible that where's our parents? And I was crying. She was crying. I'm panicking. So she's like, let's go. We retraced our steps backwards and we walked backwards toward the restroom. We opened the door and she's like, close the door. So she slams the door. She's like 3 and she's not even scared. She's like, she knew what to do. But me, I'm like, what are you talking about? So she closes the door. The minute she closes the door, I hear music again.
Ooh.
And we open the door, everybody's back. So like, what is that? That's the moment I could say that's the moment I could pinpoint when I started seeing weird stuff.
Wow, you probably jumped realities or realms.
Something, I
what
don't
did
know.
He call it? The what did he call it?
Were you guys missing
down.
any time? Were you missing any time?
Yeah, we
abduction.
We were gone for me, just going to the restroom, washing our hand, playing in there, probably like 5 minutes. But we were gone for a whole hour. And I guess the whole facility was looking for us.
Damn. Oh wow.
So when we got back, I went straight to my parents. We got spanking. How the Navajo parents are. They're like, where are you?
Wow.
It's not like, are you okay? Like, this is what you get for running off.
Yeah.
So
stepped on a nail. Oh, it's for stepping on a nail.
Yeah. But we got in so much trouble, and I'm like, you guys weren't here. I was trying to explain to my parents, like, no one was here, and they're like, quit messing with it, and they would never listen to me. I would tell. So I'd ask my sister, like, do you remember the backwards? And she's like, what are you talking about? Of course, she's 3, so she doesn't remember. I remember it. I remember it completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Creepy.
When people miss time, it's sometimes the little people, when you're out hiking and going places you're not supposed to go, you miss time. Some people are gone for like 2 weeks, who knows? And then when people are gone for hours, especially if they're in their house, those beings will still take you inside, because I have seen this one area on the Navajo Nation. This one ship went right over a trailer. Right, here's a trailer, right? So a ship went right over. It was a spear, and it shot a light down into that trailer, and a light returned up like it was a man size into that ship, and then it shot down like 300 yards to another trailer. Whew. It was getting off light and everything. My wife was driving. I was sitting in the back seat with my 2-year-old at the time, and we're watching this. My wife's driving, and again it shot a light down, a beam of light down to the trailer, and then the light went up. This thing went up and flew right over to the Grand Canyon. So, it's who knows if you were abducted, or you guys just
Who
took a
knows,
nap
yeah.
or something.
Right. I don't know. But it was
Crazy.
weird.
You should
Yeah.
get like go in an X-ray, see if you have anything they placed inside of you. Because when I missed time, I had a lump in the back of my back, and it was like that, And then I went to the hospital. They did a surgery. They took it out. It's just this little black gooey thing. They said they have never ever seen that before, and it's not cancerous. It's you're just one out of a million. This is something that just happened to you. We don't know where it came from, and we're going to further study this. And if we find anything out about it, we'll contact you. So I was like, dang, so that was Venom this whole time, Colorado Smith, or what?
Right.
I don't know why I had the munchies. No, I was
Wow.
kidding. Let's
So
catch up with some of our Kelsey Jackson. Yes, we'll schedule a Sunday, and you'll hear some scary stories right there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing your experiences.
Mhm.
Awesome show, Don and Darren. Thank you, Teresa. And say, I have strange markings, and I have thought something else. I've experienced time slips. Ooh, we gotta do
Wow.
the. Oh wow, let's see here. Let's see. Let me see if we
So-
can figure that out. Remember they do the hypnotherapy. Let's see how does this work. All right,
Yeah.
Tanya, what do you remember? That's
Oh,
pretty
man.
cool though. We got that costs us a lot of money, right, Darren? You have to pay like for someone to do the hypno. It says
yeah, you kind of
you know,
cost a pretty
quit.
penny.
Yeah, be careful. He's gonna be like, quit kissing your cousin. I was kidding.
Ask for your
Quit.
clan.
you're still your clan after 10. Okay, all right. We're giving those guys what's going on the rest. I was kidding. But yeah, thank you again, Tonya.
Yep.
We definitely
Thank you.
are honored by your stories, what's going on in your neck of the woods,
Yeah,
and
it's
helping
fun.
helping us put this giant piece of the puzzle that we got going on here.
Mhm.
While our time here, let's try to figure out this mystery. Let's
Yep.
we're all curious people, and let's stay
Yeah.
curious, but vigilant and careful, wise as serpents,
Mm,
and harmless
yep.
as serpents as well, if I may say. Darren, do you have any final questions?
Yeah. Thank you. You told some. I wouldn't want to say stories, but just parts of your
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of stuff going for you. And just do your best to do your best to do your best. With what's going
Yeah.
on. I know
Yeah.
the reservation gets pretty wild sometimes, and I'm no exception to it too. I got a lot of stuff going for myself also when it comes down to the reservation life, and I don't know, maybe we'll put our got time, we'll go out there and go hunt some monsters,
Yeah.
get some
Yeah.
time.
All right. Yep. We're
Oh, yeah.
less than our time's coming to the end. Tanya, do you have anything last things to say to our guests and our listeners? And we definitely would like to have you on, and maybe we'll have like a little powwow of all random people. Bum 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 bum.
No, I just say that, like, if anybody has stories, it's tell them, because a lot of people
Right.
probably experience the exact same thing, and it could help
Mm,
you understand what you're going through, maybe, and somebody
Yeah.
to believe you. It's hard to believe a lot
sure.
of these things, so it's good to have a
Oh,
community like this.
Oh,
Chris. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This guy was from our last episode.
yep.
But we have a minute here, and I'm gonna wind us down and close us out. And thank you again, Tanya, for having fun
Mhm.
with
Yep.
us here. And I told you you're gonna have fun here.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Oh, and happy
And
Father's Day.
Oh, hey, thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Happy Father's
Thank
Day.
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. You too, Darren. All right. So I'm gonna kick us all off. You guys have a great one. Hang out, don't leave yet. We're closing all last out. Thank you, Tanya. See you.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Say go ahead. Bye. I took you off too early.
Bye.
All right. See you.
Later.
All right, Darren. I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for tuning in to Don't Whistle at Night. We have been broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Thank you and have a great day. Bye bye.